Before cities, before farming, before the first written word, humans lived in a world that could kill them at any moment. A strange sound in the dark. A set of footprints near camp. A hunt that went wrong. Every day brought new dangers. Most people assume ancient humans feared wild animals the most. Others think it was starvation, disease, or war. But they would be wrong. There was another fear. A fear so powerful that it shaped how humans behaved, who they trusted, and even how they saw themselves. In fact, this fear became so deeply wired into the human mind that thousands of years later, it still influences many of our decisions without us realizing it. So what was the greatest fear of ancient humans? The answer reveals something surprising about our ancestors and about you. To understand this fear, you have to imagine life as an ancient human. Today, if you are hungry, you can buy food. If you are sick, you can visit a doctor. If you are in danger, you can call for help. Ancient humans had none of these things. Every meal had to be found, hunted, or gathered. Every injury could become life-threatening. Every night brought new risks. That is why tribes were so important. A single person was vulnerable. A group was powerful. The tribe shared food. The tribe watched for danger. The tribe protected children and cared for the injured. Without the group, survival became much harder. This is why ancient humans paid close attention to what others thought of them. Acceptance was not just about friendship. It was about staying alive. And that leads to an important question. If your survival depended on the tribe, what would happen if the tribe stopped accepting you? For many ancient humans, that possibility was more frightening than almost anything else. Imagine sitting beside the fire after a long day. People are talking, laughing, and sharing food. Then something changes. People stop looking at you. Conversations become shorter. The smiles disappear. Nobody asks for your opinion anymore. At first, it seems small. But in an ancient tribe, small signs carried a big message. Humans survived by working together. Hunting, gathering food, building shelter, and staying safe all depended on cooperation. When the group started pulling away from someone, everyone noticed. This is why social rejection felt so frightening. It was not simply about hurt feelings. It was a warning signal. To an ancient human brain, rejection could mean fewer allies, less protection, and fewer chances of survival. The strange thing is that your brain still reacts in a similar way today. A rude comment can stay in your mind for hours. Being ignored can ruin your mood. Being excluded can feel surprisingly painful. Part of you knows your life is not in danger. But another part is much older. And that older part still remembers what rejection once meant. This helps explain why ancient humans developed a powerful need to belong. Being accepted by the group brought safety. Being trusted brought opportunities. Being valued increased the chances that others would help when things went wrong. Over thousands of years, humans became experts at reading social signals. A smile, a frown, a friendly greeting, a cold response. These small moments carried important information. Our ancestors constantly watched for clues about their place in the group. They needed to know who supported them, who could be trusted, and whether they were still accepted. The cost of getting this wrong could be severe. That is why humans became deeply sensitive to the opinions of others. Many people think they care too much about what others think. But that instinct did not appear by accident. For ancient humans, paying attention to social approval was often a survival skill. The need to belong became so important that it shaped human behavior itself. And once you understand that, another mystery begins to make sense. Why people will sometimes do almost anything to avoid standing completely alone. You can see this instinct everywhere in modern life. People often worry about being judged. They hesitate before speaking in front of a crowd. They feel nervous when meeting new people. Sometimes they even change their behavior just to fit in. On the surface, these reactions can seem strange. After all, most social mistakes today are not life-threatening. But your brain was not built for the modern world. It was shaped during a time when social acceptance could affect survival. Deep inside, part of the human mind still treats rejection as a serious danger. That is why criticism can feel so powerful. That is why embarrassment can feel so painful. That is why many people remember social failures for years. The fear is ancient. It began long before schools, workplaces, or social media existed. And while the world has changed, the human mind has carried much of that old programming into the present. But there is something even more surprising. The greatest fear of ancient humans was not simply being rejected. It was what rejection could lead to. Because once a person lost the protection of the group, they faced a danger that every ancient human understood all too well. That danger was isolation. Imagine being completely alone in the ancient world. No tribe, no friends, no one to share food with, no one to help if you became sick or injured. Every task would fall on your shoulders. You would have to find food alone. Stay awake for danger alone. Face storms, predators, and uncertainty alone. For a healthy person, this would be difficult. For someone who was injured, exhausted, or unlucky, it could be deadly. Ancient humans understood this reality better than anyone. That is why being separated from the group was so frightening. It was not just loneliness. It was vulnerability. The tribe was more than a social group. It was protection. It was support. It was survival. And because humans depended so heavily on one another, our minds evolved to fear isolation long before it happened. The fear acted like a warning system. It pushed people to repair relationships, cooperate with others, and remain connected to the group. Thousands of years later, that same system is still active. The world around us may look different, but the human mind still carries the memory of a time when being completely alone was one of the most dangerous things that could happen. This may be why one of the strongest human desires is not wealth, power, or comfort. It is belonging. People want to feel accepted. They want to feel valued. They want to know they have a place among others. That desire connects us to our ancestors. Thousands of years ago, belonging helped people survive. Today, it helps people build friendships, families, communities, and purpose. The need itself has never disappeared. In fact, many of the things people work hard for are connected to it. Respect, recognition, friendship. At their core, these are all signs that we matter to other people. When we receive them, we feel secure. When we lose them, we often feel unsettled. This does not mean humans are weak. It means humans are social. We evolved to depend on one another. And once you understand that, the greatest fear of ancient humans becomes clear. It was not the dark. It was not wild animals. It was not even hunger. The deepest fear was losing the protection of the group and facing the world completely alone. And that ancient fear may still be shaping human behavior every single day.